How'd you go? Did you update the train function to be able to use the create writer function? Now, I might have confused you a little bit because it's not necessarily going to call the create writer function directly. It just needs to have access to be able to use it. So let's have a look at what that looks like in this video. So 6.1, update, slowly working towards our mission. So update the train function to include typos galore, Daniel, include a writer parameter. Now, we're slowly working towards our mission of being able to track experiments programmatically, which is very important as you start to build more and more machine learning models. So let's copy all of this. So we'll come back down here. Previously, our train function had ability to just track to one writer, but we want to track to multiple if we want to run multiple experiments. So this is just to reiterate. We are importing the dependencies from engine.py. All I've done is I've copied in from going modular. I've copied in the imports, and we need to import train step, which is what we're doing here, train step. And we need to import test step, which is also what we're doing here. And I've just copied in the train function, the whole function, so we can adjust it to use a summary writer. So I'm going to get out of all that. That's all I've done. So from going modular to going modular engine, import train step and test step, because the train function leverages train step and test step. So we had here writer. It's going to save some scalars for loss and accuracy, and it's going to save our model graph, and then it's going to close the writer. So we really only have to tweak something minor here, and I've hinted at it before, writer. So this is going to enable us every time we call train to pass in a writer, and that writer could have been one that we created programmatically. So let's give a little hint. This is going to be a torch.utils.tensorboard.writer.summary-writer, and it's this here. That's just what I've copied in there. That's all we have to add there. And so now let's create a if clause. So if a writer exists, if writer, so if that writer exists, well, we might set that to, should we set that to default none? I don't think it should matter. If writer, let's save, I'm going to tab with this, just tab, and then close the writer. Maybe this needs to be up here now. Tab, tab, tab. Make sure our lines are in line there. And then else pass. So if a writer exists, what have we got wrong here? Okay, so if our writer exists, we track some information to it, and then we close it, and then we pass if it doesn't exist. But now we could pass in to this writer parameter a create writer function, our create writer function that we just made. So we are now primed to set up a series of modeling experiments. In fact, you might want to jump ahead and try this out. You might want to set up, I might just get this heading here ready, is number 7, is setting up a series of modeling experiments. So if you want to jump ahead, you can go into this section, number 7, and see some ideas for different experiments you could run. But my challenge is to set up 2 times modeling experiments with FNet B0. So same architecture, pizza, steak, sushi data. So pizza, steak, sushi data. So our data that we have, and train one model for 5 epochs and another model for 10 epochs. So you might be thinking, I might have to create a list of epoch values, and then in that list, write a for loop to go through and run train twice, once for each epoch value. So give that a shot, but otherwise we'll start moving towards setting up a series of modeling experiments. But my little challenge for you, if you want to jump ahead, is try to start with 2 to begin with. I'll see you in the next video.